name is Liz Partsch.
And I am Paul Rowley.
And welcome to Farm and Dairy's Weekly Rundown.
We will be giving you, you guessed it, a rundown of the latest top stories in Farm and Dairy this week.
Sorry, you singing. My name is Liz Partsch.
There we go. That's right. That's perfect.
Should we start singing our names?
I think it does. Yeah. You know. So.
You know, it really does spiff up the whole introduction segment of it all.
Yeah. That's right. So
cool. Well, Paul, do you want to kick us off this week?
Sure. I can absolutely do that. Well, let's get ready for the Beef Expo in Ohio.
Wait.
Yeah. It's a good virtual audience that's very excited about the Beef Expo. We can even like Beef Expo. Beep, 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 beep.
Man, we haven't used those sound effects in a while.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, we need to start using them more again.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Totally.
So just in time for that, this Thursday, which is this Thursday, March 19th. Okay. Same day the paper comes out. Okay. They're right. I have a very sweet story about roofing family farms. All right. Bob Roofing calls I'm going to try very hard to pronounce this word right because for some reason I'm struggling with it. This Bob Roofing, and he calls the Simmentals focused beef farm that he and his family own in Republic, Ohio, a quote 4-H project that went wild, borrowing a line from his wife, Janet. It has been a wild ride that today sees the family exhibiting their cattle every year at the Beef Expo. The farm actually got its start with the, did I mention this? The 4-H youth development program that focuses on what? Developing the heart, the head, the hands, and the health. All I can think of is like a syringe. So that's I don't know. But
yeah, it works.
In a health setting. But the family have been involved in agriculture for many generations. When he told me actually it was his daughters, Sarah and Becca, I just realized I spelled Sarah with an H in this whole article. I think that's correct. I certainly hope it is.
I feel like I've seen a lot of spellings of Sarah.
Yes.
So
I might look into that after we are done with the pod.
I think it's based on Sarah preference. Like
yes.
the person's
that's
preference.
So accurate. Yeah. Anyway, it was based on his daughter's decision in 1994, the year I was born, to show dairy feeders as their 4-H project, which then set in motion this eventual shift to their becoming this full-fledged beef operation that the family manages today. Wow, super cool. The family purchased some cattle from a neighbor who lived down the street when they were like, I guess we're going to do this then. When that neighbor was eventually ready to let go of their farm, the Roofings eventually bought it outright along with a portion of that farmer's remaining herd and their equipment. And then they rented a second parcel for several more years to support this growing herd that they had. So this kind of also put the farms in Roofing family farms. As the Roofing children grew up and then had their own families, the operation underwent yet another transformation. The elder Roofings, Bob and his wife, and their son, Andy, I think Andy is the youngest child, split the purchase of another farm down the road that was divided by the highway. So Bob and his wife took over like the barns and the surrounding land, and then Andy bought the parcel with the house. The family transformed what had then been like an otherwise kind of old dairy farm into this kind of modernized beef cattle operation. And they added a treatment room, an alleyway system, and other features to make handling cattle easier, all while Bob was still juggling farming and a full-time construction job, which is like, wow. And he
impressive.
Explained his schedule to me, which it was, it resembles my schedule these days. It's very busy. Anyway, I'm sure you'll be hearing and enjoy hearing more about Bob and his son, Andy, and their farm and their 4-H work and and their stuff at the expo. There's lots to unpack with this very, very fun story and cute. So check it out in this week's paper.
Yep.
Over to you, Liz.
Thank you, Paul.
You're so welcome.
Well, all of you Facebook commenters that, sorry to say, but pestered us about data centers last week, like literally a story completely unrelated to data centers. Got so many comments about data centers.
Yeah.
Don't know what was going on and why everybody
they were feeling some kind of way
about data centers.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear you and I agree with you. We at the newsroom have been thinking about data centers probably every single week.
Yeah.
But we have answered your prayers. That's because last week I covered a data center protest in downtown Washington, Pennsylvania. Residents and members of the Southwestern Pennsylvania Environmental Organization, the Center for Coalfield Justice,
Mm-hmm.
chanted protests like, hey, hey, ho, ho, data centers got to go, and
That is
our
catchy.
land, our power,
Ooh.
our land, our water.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, thank
That's
you. They were
good.
really catchy,
Yeah.
as you noted. They were really
Yeah.
catchy phrases. But yeah, they chanted those as the Washington County Commissioners entered the George Washington Hotel for an invite-only meeting with data center developers.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So two data centers have been proposed in the community already, including one in the rural community of West Findlay.
Mm.
But residents say they're being left out of the conversation, which is why they were protesting.
Yes.
So, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I talked to one longtime resident, actually, of
Yeah,
West
nice.
Findlay who was at the protest with her parents.
Hmm.
And she is concerned that the data centers proposed in West Findlay last year will threaten water sources, as most people in the rural community use private wells or get water from an aquifer. She said, these data centers come in, they use millions of gallons of water annually. We're in a drought in Pennsylvania. We can't afford for them to come in and take all that water.
Yeah, wow.
And that was Heather Martin, who I had talked to.
Nice.
At the protest. So to read more about residents' concerns and the proposed data centers, you can visit farmanddairy.com. It was more of a brief coverage, but I can let you readers know you will be seeing a lot more data center coverage. So if you're not satisfied with this piece,
Stay tuned.
we will be giving you, I hope you have a big appetite, because we will be delivering.
Yeah. Nice.
So
Oh, cool. Very nice work, everybody.
yeah.
Okay. Wow. Am I going to follow up with okay. All right. Let's do that. So
Yeah, it's time.
it's time. So I want everyone to know actually that while I was at the hearing I'm about to tell you about in New Philadelphia last week, this was actually taking place on Friday during that historic windstorm that we had that knocked out power for like more than 300,000 people statewide. And it was like really, really bad. I realized that the windstorm was no joke because McDonald's is kind of my North Star, and I go there to like use the Wi-Fi and also to eat chicken nuggets, but I just do. And anyway, the wind was like blowing my car, my ailing car that you've heard no doubt about a lot at this point, was like rocking back and forth because the wind was like, it's a lot because this car weighs like 7 tons. And like the order here sign of the McDonald's was like flapping around, and the hoses at the New Philadelphia, it's like a car wash place, like next door to the McDonald's there, and like the hoses were just like getting loose, and they were flapping around like the wacky inflatable tube man, like
Damn.
outside of like car dealerships and stuff. Like I was like, this is kind of nuts actually, and it turns out actually that at some point this day, I don't know when, but at some point this day, the roof of a nearby brewery close to the courthouse came off
Wow.
by the wind on this occasion where I
that's
was
wild.
there. And there's a video of it on Facebook. If you happen to see it, if you're perusing the book, that you can just see the roof like peel away, like you do in those like tornado videos, and the Tuscarawas County plea court. I forget the formal name of this court, but it is in the background. So it's anyway. So that's just the background that I had to talk about because I was like, wow,
That's wild.
that's nuts. So anyway, meanwhile, I was in New Philadelphia for a placement hearing to determine what was going to become of Ruth Miller. She is the Millersburg, Ohio Amish woman who, as you may remember, and no doubt you may recall from my reporting that I've written about extensively at this point, was involved in that terrible incident last August at Atwood Lake and Campground in Ohio that actually saw the deaths of 2 of her family members. 4 different experts at this placement hearing to decide where she goes now. I will remind you that she was found not guilty by reason of insanity, I believe on March 3rd. 4 different experts agreed that Mrs. Miller was suffering from a complex and severe mental illness that was improperly treated and had been escalating for years when a series of confounding events were carried out in public view at the busy Atwood Lake Park and Campground late last summer. By the time she was pulled out of the shallow water by the wreck of a golf cart alongside her oldest children. She was asking strangers to pray with her when they offered her help, and she told rangers who responded to the scene right away that she had given her youngest son to the Lord, and they were left to be like, "What does that mean?" The story of what had happened to this family already defied very easy explanation. It was like they piecing it together. If you go back to the article I wrote last summer about all this, it was like, what the heck? Through the night before this incident and into the morning of August 23rd, investigators told us that Ruth and her husband, Marcus J. Miller, who's 45, just a little refresher, had been carrying out a series of faith-driven tasks in the water that they believed God had commanded them to do. By dawn, Marcus had drowned. His body was found later not far from the end of the dock, where Ruth would ultimately throw their young son into the lake as an offering, essentially to the voice in her head, and then followed by her older children. She then corralled the surviving family members onto that golf cart and drove it erratically through the park until it plunged off an embankment and into the shallow water near a restaurant where authorities found them. So basically, let me just give you like a rundown of what the experts that were asked to weigh in on like what her mental health condition was said. So off the top of my head, I will tell you that one of the first experts they talked to or testified, he talked about how at one point she had actually gone to the family doctor in like the spring of last year. And she talked about how like depression and exhaustion were like taking a toll on her. And this family doctor, I don't actually know who they are, but they prescribed her Zoloft, which is a pretty common antidepressant. And anyway, it was not the right drug for her, and it was not meeting any of like her actual diagnosis is much more complicated than anything Zoloft is equipped to like address. And she went on the drug, and then she was on the drug for a while, and then like an adjustment was made to the drug, and then she just went off of the drug. And this all basically maybe had been enough to like further destabilize her and like accelerate her downward spiral, because sometimes when people like start a drug like that and then the dosage that they're taking gets kind of wonky and then they just quit, it might be enough to push them into psychosis, the very kind that she experienced. There was a matter of she has basically like a genetic predisposition to having psychological issues, because there is a syndrome in her head called MASTS. The acronym is MASTS. And it is this syndrome that a number of her family members have, and she has not been tested for it. But another expert testified that without knowing for sure if she has this or not, like that could have contributed to like her like feeding into what became her delusions and making her just more likely to have this kind of episode. There were other things. She at one point had to tear down the whole family. Their house was riddled with mold, and so they had to actually take down their house and rebuild their house. This was a family of 6. And so there was housing instability in the background of all of the things that happened to them. And they were it's just so many things. There were just so many barriers to like this woman trying to get help for herself. She actually did seek out counsel from an actual therapist. And that person during their first session told Ruth that they actually knew her father. And she became very uncomfortable with that admission because she is a very private person. And so she just didn't return because it was like too much of a boundary that she didn't want to cross. So there's just so many things. Anyway, taken together, all of these experts urged the judge that Miller be sent to the Heartland Behavioral Healthcare facility. It's a secure state psychiatric hospital that they described as the appropriate, least restrictive setting that will see to the round-the-clock monitoring that they said she needs while still protecting the community. And in a brief ruling from the bench, Judge Ernest agreed. He said that they had, citing the very clear and convincing evidence that Miller is a person with a serious mental illness, he ordered her committed to the custody of the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services with placement at Heartland Behavioral Healthcare. Miller is going to remain in the Tuscarawas County Jail until a bed opens in this other facility. There's So the version of the article you get in the print paper this week is like the Spark Notes version of all of this. It's very condensed because we did not have the space for the monstrosity that I wrote for the paper this week. But anyway, online, I interviewed a couple of different people that can really help contextualize not only the verdict, but also like mental health in the Amish community. I worked real hard to try to find someone that could speak to that. And then there's some other stuff as well. And there's more details about, like what exactly Ruth was up against. And so all of that version of the article is going to be online. But for the Spark Notes, check out the print paper.
Let me just.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's been
Paul.
a time.
That was very thorough.
It's been a
thorough
time.
report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
wow.
there you go.
Well, something that really interests me is like that she's seeked out like a therapist.
Yes.
Or sought out a therapist.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm curious as to whether the therapist referred her to a different one because like that does seem like a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
If she was uncomfortable with that.
Right.
You know, just I'm thinking that way because I have family members who are therapists and I don't know like that would really stick out to someone. Like as a therapist, you're like, there's so much you have to report. Right.
She had
and
like
especially if someone is like that, like mentally unstable, like that is like really important.
Right.
That, you know, I guess they go through the right channels or, you know, they get the help that they need. So that's really interesting.
Yeah. There's just so many things going on in the behind the scenes. And I, you know, as a human being myself, I would perhaps encourage some of the folks who were like the loudest detractors about the verdict to maybe consider the age-old, like, what's that, you know, you never know, like, what battles a person might be fighting or whatever that is. Because, like, it's just not to, like, go too out deep here. But it really, that is really true in this case because she was up against a lot before these very tragic events happened last summer. And this was the first time really, I think in this kind of in a court setting or otherwise that we really got those details. So it was like, oh, whoa, like this, you know, she had to climb like Mount Everest to get this.
Really made a lot more sense.
Yeah, definitely.
I will say, I feel like just one more thing on the therapy thing, because now that like my head's turning on it, like most obviously like therapists, you're not like allowed to tell unless they tell other people, even like a father, unless they probably sign some type of like the patient signs a waiver. I mean, obviously she might have not. I don't know how it works in like the Amish community though. I'm sure like she might have had concerns like that.
Yeah. It's just like in their community. I got the impression at least because there's lots of like, you only get so much from the testimony. I don't have like the reports or things that they wrote up, but you get the sense that like this therapist was available in her community, which is how it should work. Like you shouldn't have to go far outside of your, you know, but yeah, I think there was an apprehension there that maybe that like confidential, you know, would be shared. So.
Yeah. Well, that stinks.
Yeah.
But
what a story.
It's just like you can really like, I'm sure you can really pour over some of these details and think them through like, wow. So everybody go check out that story. This is a very interesting, tragic case. So hopefully she gets the help she needs. Yeah. All right. Well, Paul, I have some depressing news.
Oh, great.
Anyway, so a new study published in the journal Science has found that bird populations are declining at an accelerated rate in regions dominated by intense agriculture.
Oh.
Yes. And that is according to Francois Leroy. Love that name,
by the way.
That is
a great name, yeah.
Right? And he's from Ohio State University, and he wrote this story on the cover of our auction section this week, guys. So a team of Ohio State University... A team from Ohio State University, including Francois, analyzed bird population changes using data from the North American Breeding Bird Survey from 261 species across the continuous U.S. between the continental U.S. Between 1987 and 2021. They found that on average, bird populations declined by 15%, and nearly half of these species observed showed significant population declines. So the OSU team also found that losses were strongest in the southern parts of the United States, as many species struggled to survive in these hotter temperatures. In particular, the Midwest, California, and parts of the Mid-Atlantic region are areas where bird declines are accelerating. And they all share a common thread, according to Francois, and that is agriculture. So why is that? OSU says that the practices most responsible include fertilizer use, pesticide application, and land changes. Pesticide use, pesticides just always seem to be in that conversation.
Yeah.
But pesticides in particular reduce bird populations through toxicity and a decline in insect prey, which makes sense. Less insects, less food, right?
Yeah.
And a lack of shade in ag areas also kind of plays a role.
Oh, I love shade.
Right. And honestly, through my reporting, I've just realized like trees play such an important role in agriculture.
Yeah.
And this is just feels like almost like another example of why trees and agroforestry are so important because, trees provide shade for all these animals, right? They also provide insects and food. Like trees are just an ecosystem in themselves, just like a singular tree can be so beneficial. And agricultural spaces without no trees really rid that, of all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, there are many other factors which impact birds, which are an important and vital part of our ecosystem, as Francois notes, and he talks way more about how important they are. But to read all of that, you have to read the story at farmanddairy.com, or you can visit the front of the auction section this week.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool.
Well, I think we need to take a break. Wait, not the cricket. What button was it? We haven't done this in so long. No.
That's a good one for like a break.
Whoa, that was fun.
That's a fun one.
Wait, is it this one?
Yep.
There we go. Man, I miss dancing to that. That was
I know,
fun.
it's been a minute.
Good dance break.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, happy St. Patrick's Day. It is tomorrow because we're filming this on Monday, March 16th.
Yeah.
So all of yins that are Irish or just want to pretend to be Irish, drink beer.
Yeah.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
It's a good reason to, honestly.
It really is.
Yeah.
The reason why we're having this segment, though, particularly is because Paul and I are both Irish.
That's right.
Loosely, of course. Most Americans are loosely Irish.
Yeah.
But I mean, my pap is Irish. I don't necessarily know a lot about I don't have a lot of stories about my Irish heritage. Besides the fact that I know my mom's maiden name is Cleary.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
And when they came over here, it used to be O'Cleary, but they dropped the O to kind of
like
blend in
Americanize?
more, even Americanize it.
Wow.
So that's really all I have my Irish history-wise to note today. But Paul has a really funny story
I do have a fun
he
story.
shared with The Office last week. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, where should we start? So my family, my mother's maiden name is McGovern, and so we'll just start with them. And so anyway, Irish, pretty far down the line, and my uncle, he's. I'm just trying to think how to put this nicely. He kind of
every job is important. Every job is important,
right? And he's the kind of guy that like he has a talk about importance, self-importance. Really, I would say I would describe him as having a very defined self-importance about him. Everything is the finest. The finest. I had lunch here and it was the finest. I tried this once and it was the finest. I've been there and it was the finest. It's like that.
Honestly,
anyway,
though, kind of an awesome mindset.
Kind of an awesome mindset.
Nothing is bad.
No, absolutely not. And so this leads us to, again, Facebook is coming up a lot today. But as I understand it, he was perusing the book and he came across a family crest, and I'm putting that in air quotes. So for our listeners, family crest. And like those things where it's like, oh, like the so-and-so family, and they have like a coat of arms. That's what I'm thinking. A coat of arms, quote unquote. And he saw one with like the McGovern surname, and he thought that it was like proof positive that in actuality, we descend from like royalty, that we are truly the masters of the universe. And so he took it upon himself then to set off on Ancestry.com to find proof of the fact that we are actually like the Irish equivalent of the Rothschild family or the Rockefellers or whatever. And what he actually found was just a very long lineage of poor people that we come from, which I wouldn't say that we're not exactly too far off. The apple didn't fall far from that tree. But what's fun about it is that we got like all of this information about like what our people were doing in Ireland back then. And so we were not lording, in fact, over like a castle, or we were not commanding armies or like amassing wealth and jewels and stuff. We were drum roll, please. We
there a
had
drum
one. I'm
roll?
pretty sure there's not, but we can
Yeah.
like that. We were the village trash collectors. Right.
Wrong button. Yeah.
Book it down. The village trash people. And so a very noble, I believe, role and a critical service to play in
It is.
in any
Where would that trash go?
absolutely
Municipality.
municipality.
It is a vital service still.
Vital service. And so these people who I descend from, apparently that was their task in the village. They collected all the refuse and kept the streets clean. And this is where I imagine I think I'm just like genetically built to be excited to walk into any Goodwill. And I see the value in like all of this stuff that people throw away.
A better way to look at it is you guys were the cleaners of the environment.
Literally.
You were the cleaners of the environment. Yeah. And that's why Paul writes about the environment so much.
Right. So there you go.
You are loosely connected to your ancestors through that way.
Yeah. Literally. He was dismayed. He was like, well, this is just the opposite of what I was hoping to find. Like these trash people. But trash is in my blood. I am proudly trash. And I wear that badge of honor proudly this St. Patrick's Day. So.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so funny. I mean, to be fair, I feel like if I don't know how I'd look into my ancestry unless I did the ancestry.com, which I don't know if I care too much to do that. Right. But I'm sure, just like that's probably why so many of us, like our families immigrated to the United States, is because we were living in poor conditions over there. Right. So I would imagine most people have a similar story. Yeah. But that was just a particularly funny one that we were like,
thanks, Uncle Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Uncle Michael, for the content. Paul's Uncle Michael. Wow, that's a very Irish name too, because I have a friend who is also Irish. His name is Michael. Yeah. It makes sense.
Yep. So
anyway, all right. Well, we're gonna end the segment now.
Sounds good.
So with some dance outro music. Okay, cool. Paul, you want to tell us another story before I send us off?
I sure can. Okay, well, this is actually an opportunity that my ancestors of yore did not get to partake in. So I'm doing this for them as well, too. Just all of this, the technology and all the things I have at my fingertips. As some of you may have gathered by now, our listeners, our readers, and whoever, I just love the ocean. Titanic, shipwrecks, I'm so there. Like, tell me all about it. But I will actually tell you that I think as part of this, if you could trace sort of like my love of all things aquatic and like ocean and whatever, one of my favorite video games is actually set there. And this is, it was released for the Xbox 360 game console in 2007. I was there. This game is called BioShock. In which for our purposes, just to like boil it all down as succinctly as possible, I will just describe this game as a mystery about an underwater Art Deco city, a secret one, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, which is populated by gene-altering crazed drug addicts, as some places are, and children who siphon and ingest the blood from corpses guarded by protectors who wield drills and rivet guns and escort them all around. So it's
what the heck?
It's delightful. So in this game, you spend a lot of time like skulking and hiding and making your way through. Basically, you crawl through like the gutters because everyone wants to kill you and disembowel you.
Good God.
It's so fun.
This sounds like a dream I'm going to have. Seriously.
It's really cool. It's so much more vast, but
I mean,
we
that
don't
does
have time.
sound like cool.
It's
It
so
also
cool.
sounds like a book I would read.
It's so
like a fantasy book I
we
would
gotta
read.
talk.
Yeah.
BioShock, we gotta talk. And Rand, anybody? So
The Witcher.
Right.
Wait, I think was it a game for? I think it was a game. Was it a game first or a book first?
I think it was a book first. I
don't know, but anyways, that's an example.
But yes, correct. Yeah. So why I'm setting this scene, right, is because in these like nerve-wracking moments where you're like, oh my God, there's ghosts. It's the whole thing. It's very complex
this game
game.
is really appealing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's my favorite game. It's so cool. in these nerve-wracking moments, you actually come to hear a lot of whale song echoing through the ruined halls and cafes and apartments and all the places that you're breaking into, trying to figure out like how you got there and all this stuff. In addition to like the chorus of groans and gunfire and moans and all this stuff, vending machine jingles, all of those things. So, and then you'll be like going to do like a mission, and you'll like go past a window, and a humpback whale will swim by the window, and it's like, and it's so lonely because you're like, I am the only what's the song, The Only Living Boy in New York by like Simon and Garfunkel or whoever. Like it's very, but it's also breathtaking because it will you'll stop what you're doing to like admire this giant creature just like swimming by the window, and it's like really cool. So anyway, and then you're like, wait, I'm playing a video game. I have to like do something in like a minute
I
or
can't just
something.
watch this whale.
Right. So it's like, oh my God. So anyway, this brings us to the story that's in our auction section that I'm talking about this week. And it's brought to us courtesy by our friends at the AP, the Associated Press, and is in fact about a haunting whale song that was discovered on decades and decades old audio equipment. And this is like a really neat discovery that may help us open up our understanding of how these giant animals, communicate, according to researchers who say that it is actually the oldest such recording known that we have, which is like really cool. So it's a humpback whale that is on this recording, which was like on this very unique plastic disc, which is why it's even like survived as long as it has. Like if it was on tape, it wouldn't be like be able to, they wouldn't be able to keep it in posterity like this. And what is a humpback whale? You might be able to picture one in your brain. It is actually a giant marine animal, which is also just beloved by whale watchers for its docile nature and spectacular leaps from the water. And this particular one was recorded by scientists in March of 1949 in Bermuda. This video game takes place in 1960, by the way. This was, I guess, according to researchers at Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution in Falmouth, Massachusetts, which is like basically my backyard growing up. Just as significant is the sound of the surrounding ocean itself, where this whale song was like echoing through, according to a marine bioacoustician, which is a really cool job title, an emeritus research scholar at Woods Hole. The ocean of the late 1940s, and this fact actually made me quite sad. The ocean of the late 1940s was actually much quieter than the ocean of today, providing a different background than scientists are used to hearing for whale song. A preserved recording from the 1940s can also help scientists better understand how new human-made sounds, such as like increased shipping noises, have impacted the way the whales communicate with one another. We're basically making it too loud for them to like hold a conversation, which I feel really bad about.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah. Research published by the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration states that whales can vary their calling behavior depending on noises in the environment. Whales' sound-making ability is critical to their survival. And so, like, when they are, like, making their phone calls, their whale calls and stuff, like, they need to be able to hear what is being said on the receiver on the other line, okay? And it's key to how they socialize and communicate. Okay, they can't text. We have not created an app for them to be able to communicate that way yet. So I think they would be able to pick it up rather quickly because they're apparently quite intelligent. But the sounds that they make come in the form of like clicks, whistles, and calls. There's a lot more to this, and it's just like really, really cool. And I need you all to, number one, read the article in the paper because it's just really fascinating. But also number two, play BioShock because it is really cool. And the fourth game in the franchise is like in development hell and is probably never going to be completed in my lifetime. But there might be a Netflix movie coming out like within a couple of years.
That would be really cool.
So anyway.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to dust off my old Xbox.
Yeah. Oh, so the peak way to play. Yeah.
Right. Cool. Well, Paul, there is a new mafia in town.
No kidding. It's about time.
Oh my God. And that's according to Kim Siebold in her column this week.
Oh.
And that is the protein mafia.
Oh, yes. I'm familiar with that.
Yeah. So according to Siebold, she has faced more peer pressure to eat protein than drugs, noting the program DARE that, teaches people to like resist drugs. Yeah, that's really funny. Her columns are always so witty. But yeah, so this includes eating like 120 grams of protein and 30 grams of fiber with a calorie deficit of 1,700 700 calories,
Mm.
which almost seems like impossible to cram in
Yeah.
that much amount of protein
Yeah.
while staying in like a calorie rate.
Right.
Which also seems like way too much math for me to think that,
Yeah, it
that
does.
counting that
It's
many
too
counting
complicated.
calories is too much.
Yeah.
She also talks about conflicting advice, including whether or not to eat meat or eating a plant-based diet, but not take it too far. Siebold says that's like keeping up with proper ratios of protein and fiber feels like a hostage situation,
It kind of is. I agree with that
Yeah.
characterization.
right?
Yeah.
So she also goes into more about like the struggle to drink gallons of water a day, noting her daughter has an emotional support water bottle, which I believe most of us do nowadays,
Yeah.
and to exercise and to stay exercise by staying fit. To stay fit,
Mhm.
all which can be difficult and seem to be pushed more by society nowadays
Yeah,
than
it
they used
really
to be
is.
in the past, right?
Also, protein is in everything now.
Yeah, and like there's so many, protein bar,
Yeah.
protein like
Everything.
shake,
Protein
like,
drinks.
oh my
protein,
god,
like what? Yeah.
protein cereal,
Yeah. Yeah.
like it's
What the
like
heck?
ridiculous. But yeah, she just says like on top of all of her responsibilities in life, it's just so difficult to balance out all of these like things in society that we push to be healthy individuals.
That's so valid. Yeah.
Right, and she even ends the column by saying that she's going to be quitting her job to focus on protein full time, which is just another witty way that she uses her humor. But yeah, I totally relate, Kim. I mean, I definitely feel like water is a struggle for me. Like,
Yeah.
if I don't drink a ton of water, I'll get headaches.
Yeah,
I just like
right.
I'm not.
That's so,
but just weird,
so valid. Yeah.
which is like weird though, because I feel like it depends on who you are as a human. Because I know
Mhm.
like my one friend like will not drink water for 3 days.
Yeah.
She'll drink
Yeah.
like lemonade all day.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, how do you do this? Like I would not be able to survive as a human.
Yeah.
But definitely more on the protein side of things though.
Mhm.
Like
Did
we
we-
said, it's too much.
Did we have a Judy Sutherland column like several months ago where she was talking about like growing up and how like no one drank water at any time? Like that was it
Maybe.
Judy?
It might have
somebody.
been her. I know that she also mentioned the same thing, that she was growing up and she would like barely ever drink water.
Right.
Like
It just never
Yeah.
occurred to people. They'd be like, "You want a glass of milk?" Like, and
Yeah.
now it's like, "No, I desperately need a glass of water. I'm going to shrivel up like SpongeBob."
yeah, I
at
don't
one
know.
time.
It is like interesting. It'll be interesting to see if they could do a study on like, I don't know if they could, but like why does it seem like we as a society drink way more water than we
Yeah.
did
Which
in
is
the
a good thing, I
past?
think.
I mean, it is.
Like-
I think it's a good thing. Like, yeah,
Yeah, we're
but
just
definitely the whole protein thing. Like,
basically like anxious sea cucumbers. Like we just need that
Yeah.
amount of water.
part of me thinks the whole protein thing is kind
Yeah,
of
back
driven
to
by
this.
just like. Sorry, I'm just
No,
like
you're
I can't
right.
really.
Go back to
but
the
like,
subject
like
of
the
the-
water, I feel like is hard to like to
Right.
really
Argue
analyze,
with,
argue with,
but
you know,
then
because
the
we don't
prote-
know why
right,
like
yeah.
more people need water and other
Right.
people don't need water. But the whole protein thing, to me, it feels like it may go back to
Excessive.
just, well, yeah, it's obsessive. And I also feel like it's an example of like how processed our food is.
Yeah,
that
that's a
we're
good
like
point.
adding like unnecessary protein to things. When like back in the day, you just ate like food that was
Yeah.
probably local food
Right.
that you knew where the ingredients were coming from that were good for you. And that's where you
Yes.
got your protein and fiber intakes.
Right.
That
You're
was a
onto
healthy
something.
amount.
Yeah.
But nowadays we have like these gym bros that are like
Yeah.
just eating ridiculous amount of protein to look like, I don't know,
Mhm.
Godzilla. No offense. But like, I don't know, I think we just need to calm down.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you eat healthy foods that aren't processed, isn't that enough
Yeah.
protein and fiber?
Right. They're probably capitalizing on like that insecurity or that anxiety of
Yeah.
like these companies. But I swear, like I just saw a commercial like not that long ago and it was like a soda. And it was like, and there's how many, there's 100 grams of protein in
Yeah.
this carbonated beverage. And it's like,
Like what? Who's
Like,
drinking a carbonated beverage
I
for
think
protein?
that's accurate. I'm pretty sure that I'm
That
not
is
making that
wild.
up, but I don't remember what the brand is. I just
Yeah.
remember this being kind of astonished that they were like, and how many grams of protein are in this carbonated soda? Like, what?
Yeah.
So, because there's a whole new thing with soda now where it's like healthy for you again.
Mhm.
Or I don't think it was ever healthy for you, but like
Yeah.
now it's like soda
Look,
could
like
be.
this poppy soda.
Right, that's
like
exactly what I'm
poppy.
thinking
It's
of,
like
yes.
this is, yeah, it's
So
like
it's like one of those
yeah.
situations.
No, I definitely. I mean, you bring up a good point. Is it like driven by marketing like just like
Right.
company
I think-
corporate?
Yeah.
Again, we go back to corporate America.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does seem like it's pushed by that, and then as a society, we feel this pressure because we think that everybody's
Right.
doing it, and all these companies see
And we're
that
like,
market.
we gotta take better care of ourselves because
Yeah.
we have 3 jobs, so
Yeah.
like we
You know,
gotta do that. And then
yeah.
yeah,
Ugh, it's just so much.
it is so much.
But you know, guys, just keep living your lives.
we just need the
and-
birds and the bees to not be like lost to any reason.
Yeah.
And
You know
what
what's
did Joni
important?
Mitchell say?
Yeah. Wait, what'd you say? What does Joni Mitchell say?
Joni Mitchell, she's like, give me the birds and the bees when she sings Don't know, seem to
Oh,
go.
yeah.
and
She's
you
so
don't know
real.
what you're gonna do.
Preach, Joni Mitchell.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're so right. We don't need more protein. What we do need is more birds
Mhm.
and bees
Yeah, please.
and whale songs.
Yeah, honestly, yes.
So screw protein. Only healthy protein that
Yeah.
we naturally can get.
Yeah.
And we love the birds, the bees, and the whales.
Yeah.
So on that note, we are going to end the podcast.
There you go.
So, that is all we have today, guys.
Yeah. That was fun. To read more, check out farmanddairy.com, where you should be all the time. You should have that favorited, bookmarked
Yep.
on your browser. Or pick up a local paper from any place, any establishment where you normally do, or a news. What is that called? Why can't I remember what
Newsstand.
a newsstand. Why couldn't I remember that?
Because newsstands,
yeah.
like who reads the print paper anymore? Just kidding.
They
We actually
should.
do have a lot of
Oh
print.
my God,
I'm just
flash
joking.
puppets.
No, I'm joking, guys. The reason why I said that is because I just wrote a column that is news isn't free, and people
Right.
thinking
This
that they
is a
can get
good
all their
plug for
news
that.
online.
Right.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to talk about it again on the pod. No, I'm not. But that was why I was laughing at that. No, we do love our print readers. I would much prefer if we had a print paper instead of
No,
online.
I just wanna go
But
back to
unfortunately,
analog.
right. Unfortunately, we are constrained by the internet and just modern society, and
We
we
really
have
are.
to have the internet and all this news online.
Yeah.
But fortunately for you all, you have both options. So do go to the newsstands.
Yeah.
And let us know where they are, because frankly, we don't even know
Wait,
where
yeah,
them
map
are.
them out for us, because that'd be really good information. I want to know.
Well, we
actually.
do actually have a map, but I think it's like
Oh.
really outdated.
Oh, okay.
So that's why if you readers, if one of you wants to go and do the work for us,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
Just kidding, but you don't have to.
But we'd appreciate it if you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is really getting off topic, but you're trying to send off. I'm just going to end it by saying thanks for tuning in,
Yeah.
guys, and we will see you next week.
Bye for now.